Hello everyone, this is Jackie, Seasoned Curves. I'm going to try doing this today without my glasses. No, that's not going to work. I need them because I can't see. Hey Kels, how are you? So, today we're going to talk about mixing classics and trends. But before I get into, hey Kels, I get into mixing classic and trends, I kind of want to talk a little bit, just a little bit about me. It's funny, as I was thinking about this scope, my mind went to my growing up and my being different. And it's funny, I'm sure a lot of us have experienced, you know, in our youth, being different and not understanding that being different means, for me anyway, or I've learned that, and I'll talk about that in a minute, that being different and not the norm means that you are destined to do great things or do something wonderful with your life. But the only thing you see as a youth, I'm going to say me, the only thing that I saw as a youth was confusion and, you know, the what is wrong with me and what's happening. It's just funny when I think about that. I was a thick child, became a curvy teenager, young lady, woman. What was interesting is I had a small waist, and I'm going to say, I don't want to say a big butt. I had a very shapely behind, great legs. And I struggled with body image. I really did. And the struggle with my body, I think, didn't so much come from me. I think it was kind of forced upon me based on other people's opinions. And what I found so interesting was my dad encouraged me to be fearless. He encouraged me to try and do different things, which I thought was so interesting. I guess he saw the different, and instead of making me uncomfortable about the different, his attitude was, okay, she's different, then she needs to be fearless if she's different. Whereas my mom and my aunts, they were a little more, for lack of a better way of putting it, catty about their approach. So I learned fearlessness from my father, which I think was my saving grace growing up. And I learned to be uncomfortable in my body and my skin from my mom and my aunts. So let's fast forward a little bit, because we're going to talk about about fashion and how I think I wound up in this lane right here. I've always liked fashion. I've always liked trends. I've always liked style since I can remember. It has been something that is in my spirit. It has always been in my spirit. I remember being 12, 13, 14 years old, and before trend became popular or setting trends, I was setting trends. I was doing things different. I was wearing clothing, mixing them in a way that I hadn't seen anybody else do. For example, as a young teenager, adolescent, I had a thing for ties, specifically bow ties. I don't know what that is or where it came from. I kind of started out wearing the longer ties. And here's my dad with the Fearless. And I would wear his ties. And he would give me his ties to kind of match the outfit that I had on to go to school. I thought that was so interesting. So I would always wear, I had this thing for big shirts, long shirts, and a tie, kind of loose around the neck, you know, my pants or my skirt. Off to school I go. So when I got a little older, and I've always liked vintage clothing. Let me throw that in there. I've always liked vintage clothing. And vintage meaning for me, because I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, a little in the 80s kind of, I guess. I loved that 40s and 50s look. You know, the women's jackets that were fitted and tapered in the waist. And why wouldn't I like that? Because not even knowing it in my head, it really worked on my body. It really looked good on me because I had a small waist, booty, and hips. So those little, which are starting to come back, those little jackets, they're fitted and they fit in the waist and they kind of flare out on the bottom. I'm going to call them like your peplum bottom today, but they weren't as flare as the peplum bottoms and are today. And so hitting my 20s, I found a lot of these vintage antique clothing stores. And let me tell you, I had a ball. I would buy the little fitted jackets. And remember now, I sew. So I would buy my little fitted jackets and I would make the skirts to match. Flare skirts, you know, trumpet bottoms, very flare, circles, straight skirts. Not so much straight skirts because I'm dealing with, remember, the body image issue and I don't want you to see what I look like, you know, underneath these clothes. Although you're going to see, it, you know, you learn that later that you're going to see. People see your body. And so I went through a phase of bow ties. So my look in my 20s was the woman's jacket that was very fitted, very tapered, my little shirt, and you know, my cute little shirts, white, whatever color, pink, didn't matter, and a bow tie. And then a really flare, full skirt that was probably ankle length. And little boots. Boots have always been my thing too. I think I'm going to scope about that because there are certain things that I think as women we do so automatic that we don't realize that that's our thing. That's something we like. Boots have always been my thing. Short boots have always been my thing. Granny boots that tie up, always been my thing. So there's certain things that I gravitate to because I've always liked them. From young, I've always liked a certain look. So my look in my 20s was the bow tie, right? Fitted taper jacket, cute little crisp shirt, my flare skirt, and my boots on the bottom. Setting a trend, because back then, women didn't mix male and female clothing. And for some reason, I loved doing that. There was something about it that was so interesting. And it was still classic, but it had a flair. There was something different about that classic. And I just loved mixing trends and classics. And so that's kind of sort of where this scope is coming from today. I wore something, my throat is going, give me a minute. Sorry about that. I wore something today that kind of, I guess for 2017, fits into the mixing of a classic and a trend. It's great dressing. It's a lot of fun. But there's an art to combining the two, and you want to be careful when you're combining them, because it can kind of look a little off. So what I wore today, and I'm going to stand up so you can see, is a striped dress that's long, and this is considered pretty classic. I mean, pretty trendy. Stripes are on trend. Your fitted bodycon type dresses are on trend, right? So I kind of went and used a necklace that's a little bit on the trendy side, but has a classic feel to it. And then my jacket is totally classic. It zips up. It's totally classic. Sleeves, right? And so I married the two. I married the two trends. And I got so many compliments today. I said, okay, I must be doing something. And then I wore, on my feet, here we go with those boots. I wore on my feet a pair of pink suede boots with a little kitten heel. And that is how I mixed my classic and my trendy together. I need to tell you who I am. I've been talking and I didn't tell you who I am. I am Seasoned Curves. And what my company does, what I do, is I empower women over 45 to embrace their age, to dress their bodies while transforming their inner and outer beauty through fashion and through style. That is what I do. And while I'm teaching you and coaching you on fashion, trends, styles, I kind of talk to that inner you that might have some issues with your body, with your look, with your style, with who you are, so that you can embrace fashion, so that you can embrace style, so that you are open and willing to change the game, change who you are. I have to tell you something. I have done, and this is no lie, so much growing and so much changing throughout my lifetime. I kind of look at God and go, really? There's some more stuff I gotta change and work on? But it's a wonderful thing, because the more you grow, the more you change, the more you embrace who you are and who you aren't, the more comfortable you become in your skin, the more easy life becomes, the more you don't waste your time with nonsense and nonsense people. I'm learning that. I spent 2017, I believe, God may beg to differ, working on that last little piece, that last little bit that I needed to come into my own, to come into my being. That was rough. It taught me a lot about who I am, who I am not, the things that I need to work on, the things that I need to learn and know about myself so that I can walk in my purpose and do what I need to do for myself and for other women who may be struggling as I struggled. I've spent a lifetime in fashion. I've been sewing since I was 12 years old. I know a woman's body. I know a woman's body type. I know what works on a certain body type, as well as what will work for you, making you comfortable as well, because you don't want to throw something on and you're not comfortable in it, because that's going to show. When you put a garment on, the garment's not supposed to wear you. You are supposed to wear the garment. You are supposed to enhance the garment. That garment, two garments, are going to look different on two different people based on how they show up with their confidence, with their greatness, all of that. So that's what I do. That's who I am. And I've struggled with it enough, and I've learned how to grow in it and grow up in it, and I've learned how to look at my flaws, understand that they are there, and keep on moving. That's it. That's all I got today. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Kelly, I will talk to you soon. As a matter of fact, I think I might call you a little later today because I might need your help with something. So, ladies, you have a wonderful evening. Hopefully we will chat soon. And remember, Season Curves. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. I have my own fan business page and webinar. Sorry about that. I have a webinar coming up this Sunday. So go to seasoncurves.com, my website. /Give Me Body, and sign up there for the webinar. I'll be sending out the information probably later on towards the end of the week, like Thursday, Friday, so that you guys know how to log in and come in on the webinar. Have a great night. Again, Instagram, Season Curves. Facebook, Season Curves. My website, seasoncurves.com. Talk to you soon. Bye.